we can see in the world today, there's a spirit of Antichrist going against Christ, against the church. It finally achieves its form, its incarnation, like it were, and it's one man who will come at the end and do many of the very same things that Christ did. It will be some kind of demonic marvel.
Well, hello friends, welcome to the Reversion. Hope you all had a fantastic Independence Day weekend. I know I did, although it's hard to celebrate our freedom when our digital prisons are being built, the infrastructure is already in place, and the totalitarian control mechanism is all starting to connect and be implemented as we speak. This is not a speculative thing. This isn't something that's going to happen in the future. It's happening now. It's developing, and we're going to be covering some of the latest tonight. So good to see you all. Thank you, friends, for those who have shown support since the last stream. I did a members only stream last week. Thank you for those who tuned in. You can check out the video over on my Substack or here on YouTube by becoming a member, a fellow schizo, and you can check that out. It's about the ritual regicide of the Romanov family of Tsar St. Nicholas II. We read a book on it in the book club. There's all sorts of Judeo-Bolshevik conspiracy in the book. It's a official based on an official investigation, but you can go check that out. Anyway, what you're looking at here is you might think this is a data center map, but this is the over 100 flock cameras that have been installed throughout the United States. You can see the heat map here. We've looked at this before on the stream, so this isn't a new subject I'm covering. In fact, it's not a new subject at all, really. This has been going on for, I would say, a good almost a year, but really started getting coverage about 6 months ago, I would say. And it's now becoming something that can't be ignored. I'm kind of concerned about how little coverage this is getting, at least within our echo chamber. I guess that's subjective, but this is all being done under the guise of safety and reducing crime, kind of the typical narrative that you have been seeing since I would say since the Patriot Act. So there's a lot of similar narratives and sentiments going around that's, justifying this. As you saw with the Patriot Act, this is something conservatives are behind. In fact, I would say conservatives are probably pushing harder for this than Democrats are. Same with the age verification checks, which is the Trojan horse of the digital ID, as we know. And the data centers as well. So we're going to cover like how this is all connecting tonight. So I hope you enjoy the stream. You can always donate via Super Chat or the link in the description through my website. I don't know if Streamlabs is working tonight. It says the servers are down, so maybe bypass Streamlabs for tonight. But of course, even just you tuning in is support, and so I appreciate everyone who's joining us here. So what are flock cameras? That's something that you may have seen on the timeline. You may have seen people talking about these surveillance cameras, but what actually are they? Because there's a lot of debate over if these things are a violation of our privacy, constitutional violation, or if these are justified because they are helping with mass deportations and to reduce crime, right? I see a lot of these quote dissident right accounts that are these really just mouthpieces for MAGA. These anon accounts that are unironically in support of this because they think that it's going to be something that will decrease crime and help to get illegals out of the country. And to be fair, it is there is some of that going on. But I think what we'll see tonight, at least what I hope to illustrate tonight, is that the abuses of these cameras are surpassing the good that's coming out of it. And we'll see that where this is going. I mean, you can probably already predict, right? You can probably already see where this is going. This is, like I said, the infrastructure of a surveillance state. All right. Regardless of what these cameras are being used for, there's over 100,000 of them already, and people are just finding out that they exist. And many still don't even know that. I would say probably more of the population doesn't even know these exist. I was trying to talk to my dad about this over the weekend. He didn't even know what I was talking about. So like normies have no idea about this stuff, that this is even happening. Yay, we're discussing the next tech hell, furthering the technocratic noose, making the world into a panopticon open-air prison. Exactly. Unfortunately, I would love to not cover this anymore, but unfortunately, this is only going to get worse. I hate to say it. And I would love to be wrong about that. But this is the reality that we're living in. So this is what I mean. It's like we celebrated 250 years of American independence. Right, we freed ourselves from the tyranny of the British monarchs. Right. Well, look where 250 years of democracy got us. I mean, this is just one of the consequences, one of the many nightmare consequences of democracy. And I would even say, as the video is titled here, you can't vote your way out of this. And actually, it might be even unfair to attribute this to democracy because no one even voted for it. But it was our democratic system. It was bureaucracy that got these cameras installed. It was technocracy, right? These private companies working with the government. Flock is a private company, and they have all these contracts with various big tech corps and government institutions, government agencies. And so, what's actually going on here? Let's take a look at this is the Flock website. Let's go straight to the source, okay? So this is how they're marketing this, right? They've located 10,000 missing people, I just had a retard moment with the numbers here. 10,000 missing people, 1 million cases Flock supported last year, I guess legal cases, and then 12,000 communities trust. Okay, that just means 12,000 communities have Flock cameras installed. I mean, all this PR speak and everything. So you might look at this and be like, okay, what's the problem? This is basically like, you know, a ring cam. Everyone's got these ring cams on their doors now, right? What's the difference between these and just these are just glorified ring cams? Well, these were, like I said, these are installed as license plate readers right here. You can see that they're saying these are license plate readers, which is the primary use. To be fair, right now, seems to be the primary use. It's to read license plates. Now, you may know if you live in America and you are in one of the states where these flock cameras are legal, which I think is most states. I mean, you know, again, if we go back to the map here, it really looks like you have like Nevada, like most of Nevada, most of Oregon, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota. That's pretty much the only states it looks like that don't have flock cameras. You know, you go to the east and it's just a nightmare. And I think I remember reading that Atlanta. Yeah, you can see Atlanta. This has the most. Well, Atlanta's just like covered in voice cams, or I'm sorry, flock cams. I was just reading the chat. It's covered in flock cameras. But you know, speaking of voice, if we look at the flock products here, look at what they make. Okay, they've got audio detection, right? So this is like they're saying car crash. So there's an audio detection for if there's a car crash, a gunshot, or fireworks. That's an interesting one. Fireworks, right? I thought this was just like to detect crime. There's states where fireworks are legal. You know, what are they going to do with this? I mean, look, this is just the initial implementation of this. They're not going to set up this surveillance state with over 100,000 of these public surveillance cameras all across the country and have it be overtly a spying mechanism. You know, they're doing this like everything else, like the digital IDs, you know, like the internet censorship. They're doing this under the guise of safety and security, right? With the digital IDs, we're seeing that it's for the safety and security of children online, right? This is for, you know, crime prevention, just like the Patriot Act and what justified installing TSA in every airport, where now you can't even travel your country freely via air travel without getting molested by a stranger. If you're lucky, you don't get them. If you're lucky, you can travel by air without getting molested by a stranger. But, you know, it's bound to happen the more you fly. So it's just a dice roll, basically, if you're going to get molested or not. But regardless, you still have to go through the whole TSA system that was put in place after 9/11, justified by the Patriot Act. And it's totally unconstitutional. And that's just a part of our lives now. Like nobody really talks about, like, complains about TSA in a way that is like, you know, it's just like pretty much normalized is what I'm trying to say now. Thank you for the $2. Periphery Allen. Thank you, man. Appreciate you supporting the stream. I always love to see our abased brother Periphery. Thank you, man. Yeah, so, you know, look, this is, just look at the technology that they're using, right? So they've got the audio detection. Okay, video cameras. Now these are, there's like a technology, I forget what it's called. Maybe it says it here. I mean, these are all AI powered too. Yeah, here, PTZ. So these are PTZ cameras that they basically target a moving object that is within its frame. And it's all AI motion detection. And so these have, I don't know what the zoom power is on these, but I mean, these can zoom in. Now you've probably even seen, like, on the the license plate readers, this is what I was trying to say earlier. If you have gotten a ticket in the mail and you're in a state where you have one of these, you have flock cameras on like one of the main highways or whatever, you may have seen the image in your ticket that they sent in the mail, a really high res photo, either of the back of your car, or it's like, in some cases, it's actually pointing down into the windshield. I remember seeing a video not too long ago. It was a girl on TikTok or something, and she was talking about, she was actually showing that photo that she got. So she got like a $250 ticket in the mail for whatever. I think it was for driving while on the cell phone or something like that. And in the photo that they mailed to her for the ticket, she's got her phone face down on her lap while she's driving. And the high res camera was able to like show that with high, with in 4K essentially. It's like there's no questioning it. It's like super high res, it's color, this is like, these are high powered cameras. These aren't like the old the old like whatever CRT cameras or whatever, like the old school like VHS type cameras. These are high quality surveillance devices. So that's what they were initially installed for, was like these license plate readers, right? But like what we're seeing, and by the way, interestingly, if we zoom out here, if we zoom out on the map, I thought this was interesting. I just looked at this before I went live here. I was just like, this looks familiar. And if you look at this data center map, isn't that interesting? It's like they're being built in the same regions where the flock cameras are populated. Okay, you can even look at the states where they aren't, right? What did we say? Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Wyoming, North and South Dakota. Not many data centers there, right? Look at the flock cameras. Okay, you have that kind of empty region there, and then it's like this is like the same thing we're looking at. And so, you can kind of even just see from this what's going on here. Right? I don't know if that, like, I'm not even trying to say that this is, like, they need data centers specifically in the locations that they're building or that they're installing flock cameras. But I think that, when you understand what the data centers are for, that might make some sense. I'm just literally connecting dots here. I'm just looking at what's in front of me. I mean, that is just undeniable. And maybe it's a totally unrelated coincidence, but that is, there is undeniably something like some kind of correlation going on there. Why is it that the heat map is like exactly the same regions as the data center map? Why? Paul Kingsnorth says we should be bombing the data centers. Does he really? I need to read more of his stuff. Like, so this is my take on that. Like, I cannot condone that, and for obvious reasons, not just because I'm on YouTube, but certainly not online. And plus, like, I just don't think I think that's going to make things worse for you. It's first of all, it's not going to actually make a dent in this system. And then second, it's just, it's like, if you'd manage to do that without harming anybody, which I'm not sure how you would do that. Is it worth like spending maybe the rest of your life in prison? I wouldn't be surprised if they imprisoned people who, like these AI, they're calling them AI terrorists. Like if they imprison them for life and let these PDF files go free after 10 years or something, I would not be surprised. But I mean, we just saw Let me see here. I'm gonna have to pull this up because I didn't have it saved, but I think I tweeted about this. Yeah, we just saw here. U.S. law enforcement warns of AI anti-tech extremism as AI hatred grows, right? So they're going to create a new classification of terrorists based on anti-tech extremism, whatever the hell that means. I'm probably an anti-tech extremist. But who knows? Does this mean like people who are actually trying to destroy data centers and flock cameras and whatnot, like physically, or is it protesters, or is it people who are just outspoken online? I mean, this is the problem with these laws, is that they can just, they have an initial implementation and then they just expand in their reach based on kind of the same thing with like anti-Semitism, right? They make these morphing definitions out of what it means to be an anti-tech extremist. So that's the problem with these laws. But so I'm saying here, anti-flock camera activism online will likely soon be, and I'm saying online specifically. So I'm saying activism online, like basically posting about anti-flock cameras. It'll soon be classified as a domestic terrorism and will only further justify more surveillance and censorship of U.S. citizens. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the growing quote terrorism, the anti-flock camera, anti-data center extremism, as they're calling it, right, is only going to further justify the surveillance state. And I just think, I really do believe you're not going to really make a dent in it unless there's got to be some kind of nationwide like mass protest, like where every city in the world, like they have to really, this has to really get crazy for that to be a threat, like for citizens to start toppling these things in a way that it makes the government afraid. I did also see something about, and just in particular to the flock cameras, that Flock actually has it set up where it's in the contract when, let's say, a police department or a community purchases one of these flock cameras. If it gets destroyed, it doesn't even matter how it gets destroyed. If it gets destroyed at all, it costs no money for, like, it's like there's basically like a no, what do you call it? There's no like policy on it. There's no insurance policy on the cameras. So all they have to do is just, but like that basically benefits Flock, because those people are going to have to replace the Flock camera, and then they just buy more Flock cameras from Flock, so they make more profit. So people were saying that, actually, if you're destroying these things, you're making Flock more money because they're the only ones that sell these cameras. So if they're going to be replaced, which they do get replaced, it just sells more cameras. Yeah, having a garden is going to be eventually be labeled as an extremist. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of already the case, like even during the pandemic. So I mean, there's a lot, like you can look at reports and stuff on the Flock, people like analyzing the Flock website and like their security policy, right? I think they just changed something where they reworded their terms of service so that it protects them as an organization. Like if there was a misuse of the cameras, like say, we're going to look at a number of things here where these cameras are being abused. But let's say there's some kind of like scandal or, a lawsuit, something like that. Flock is basically not liable for whatever happens with these cameras. I'm kind of paraphrasing this, but I was watching something that the guy was explaining this, where he's saying that they changed their TOS like recently so that it basically covers their own ass if there's a some kind of legal problem that involves Flock. So And then they also, interestingly, they're not on. Now, I heard somebody say this. I'm going to check it live here. I'm just going to see if this is true. I'd be interested to know if this is true. But somebody said that Flock did not submit themselves to the Internet Archive. Now, I don't know if that means submit their own page or if, like, let's see. What is it? Flock safety.com. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to be able to. I got my VPN on, so never mind. Which VPNs are also going to be illegal soon. So, but yeah, I read somewhere. Maybe I can just like find something to back that up if it's true that Flock, the company, did not submit their website to the Internet Archive, which is really sus. It's like, what are they trying to hide? And then you see that they changed their TOS, stuff like that. That makes sense. They probably just want to be able to have unwarranted policy changes, So I have, let's see here. Yeah, so I'm going to go over like how these things are connected, right? Digital IDs, there's a lot of internet censorship happening on a greater scale. The surveillance state, right? The data center infrastructure, right? The connection between all of these, it forms this comprehensive, interconnected web that is designed for this total information awareness and societal control. Okay, all of these cameras are, as we'll see here, all these cameras are, they all have a dashboard, right, that you can log into. So like people were saying that there's all these security risks with the admin panels, like you were able to like hack them pretty easily or sometimes just get in with no password. So this is the EFF website, which the CEO of Flock is calling a terrorist organization. It's literally just the Electronic Freedom Foundation, Electronic Frontier Foundation. This has been an MPO for many, many years, and they're just being labeled into a terrorist organization now because they are anti-Flock. So this is a good article where they explain how these things work and how they're being used, how law enforcement uses this technology, right? There's a video about this here. Threats posed. Okay, so like there's some good resources here, but here's how, let me see here. Sorry, I'm looking at my crazy list of links. Yeah, it's a good point, Christopher. Yeah, just get out of the cities, really. Have a game plan to get out very quickly and settle elsewhere. Yeah, at least get out of the cities. I mean, these things are going up everywhere, but they're especially in the cities. I can't imagine, imagine living in Atlanta, right? There's probably nowhere you can go that isn't being surveilled right now. And then, of course, you have, again, a lot of these like MAGA patriots. They're like, oh, yeah, that's because, if you look at that heat map, it's all these densely populated areas where there also happens to be high crime. But we're going to see here that this is not how they're being used. So we can see here, for example, no, guys, it's fine. Flock cameras only read license plates. It's just normal traffic control. Stop being paranoid. Anyway, here's one on a bike path. All right, so you've got, there's a Flock camera on a bike path. Why? What is it doing there? Why is there a GOI camera on the bike path? So, yeah, these GOI cams are just everywhere now. You also have... okay, this is Florida. Okay, this is just what we were looking at, but someone's just noting that you have these Republican supermajorities where you have the, you know, the state is covered in flock cameras, right? So like I said, Republicans are getting behind this. You see here that, well, actually, yeah, this was a viral one going around too. This video here. Actually, there's maybe I'll put on the longer one of this. There was a really good investigative report on this incident here. So it says flock safety cameras help solve crimes, but who's watching the watchers? And this was back in May. So again, just didn't get really the same virality it's getting now for whatever reason. People are really starting to catch on now to this happening, but this has been going on for months. Like I said, it didn't just spring up overnight, 100,000 of them. This has been going on for a while, and it's like like too late now. It's like, what are we going to do? There's 100,000 of them.
Flock safety cameras continue to pop up around town
to ensure that car thieves and violent criminals have almost no chance to escape.
They've been helping catch suspects quickly.
We're just trying to keep you safe.
Flock cameras have revolutionized local law enforcement.
The system has helped them arrest violent offenders and recover stolen cars.
An advantage they say is priceless.
Just help them get a dangerous man off the street.
They tracked his car down using flock cameras.
The cameras take a picture of every car that drives by.
The cameras are designed to catch criminals, but they also create a searchable database of every car that passes.
All day it's just reading tags.
They're continuously recording.
It's just a tool to help us catch criminals. We're going to catch everyone.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09 exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado...
That's a wild thing to say. Like, he just said that. Like, imagine a cop saying that to you. You're being watched whether we're there or not. So, and we're going to be looking at some of the abuses that cops are using these cameras for. You may or may not have heard one of them is there's been a number of cops that have used flock cameras to track down their exes. I kid you not. And of course, you know, disciplinary action has to be taken, but the fact is they're using them for that purpose. That's one of the things. And I read the report on it, and it was like, so when a cop goes to the admin panel for the flock cameras, they have to give a reason why they're viewing any given camera. And because it all gets logged. Like, it gets logged every time you view a camera. Like, it has your username tied to the view, right? So like, it could see like this, you know, you viewed this camera 11 times or whatever. And so this particular cop in one of these incidents was when he was writing his reason why he was viewing the camera in his report, he was just saying he was just saying investigation. There were he was giving one word descriptions of why he was tapping into the cams, and he was just saying investigation to watch where to track his ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend.
A police officer showed up at her door holding flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
What's the crime here?
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure.
Yeah, this is a great point too. How, yeah, this is basically like mimicking or an inversion, like a demonic inversion of omniscience. Absolutely. Because the devil isn't omniscient, And so there's like this is like a a fake and gay omniscience where it's like through the use of technology. I'm not going to break that down too much in terms of like the demonology there, but that is, I think conceptually that's pretty interesting at least.
100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was
the all-seeing eye, man.
Stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Okay, so they're saying, okay, now it makes sense. They're saying that she was stealing packages. All right, I don't know if they said that at first and I'm just a retard. So, again, this is like you have all these people justifying this by saying like, these magatards that are like, this is going to help, like this is a good thing actually. It's going to help reduce crime in these crime-infested neighborhoods in America. And it's like, well, then what happens when they're installed in white neighborhoods and they are using them to mistakenly arrest innocent white people? Like, then do you care? Oh, well, that's, it's just an outlier or whatever. Okay, well, this is not where this is like, this is going to end bad is what I'm saying. Like, this is going to end bad. It's not going to just be what you think it is. It's always what they initially tell you that seems like it's at least like, to some degree justifiable. That's how they get away with this stuff. That's how they got away with, like I was saying, TSA and the Patriot Act. Like they play on people's fears and it makes it just, really easy to be, become more authoritarian when you are acting on behalf of the fears of the population, right?
Times you tried to show him your video evidence, he didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was, I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You saying this is back.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
There's no courts anymore too, right? It's like these cops can like prosecute people, but essentially without a court. Oh, I have all the video evidence. Well, you got the wrong person.
Charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize for him.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, like, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
But yeah, okay, but the tool is just a camera. It's just that your company is advertising them as safety and security cameras, right? You're not, you didn't provide it with a use case other than this is for, this stuff here on the website. It's just how you're marketing it. So you're just saying, the guy, like this cop, abused what we are marketing this device for. It's to detect, investigate, and respond. Well, this was a cop doing an investigation. So if he makes a mistake in his investigation, he's misusing the cameras. But if it's a investigation that leads to an arrest or finding a lost person or something, then it's the proper use case. So they get to define what is the appropriate use of these surveillance cameras, right? And that's why he's like not, and I guess I don't blame him. I probably wouldn't apologize either if I were in his shoes, but he probably doesn't see any reason to. They're thinking they're making these things for a good purpose, and so if a mistake is made, this goes back to like I was saying, the liability. They have no liability for when these kinds of cases happen. Flock takes no accountability, no liability. It's written in their TOS, right? So they have full immunity with whatever happens with these cameras.
The watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council, the city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
Dumb Questions donated $19.99
Let's go.
through Super Chat. Let's go, Schizo Brothers.
Yeah, let's go. Welcome to the stream, IS Dumb Questions. Thank you for the $20, man. Schizos, lock in.
License plate readers don't just scan tags looking for stolen cars or vehicles on a hot list. The cameras take a photo of every car that passes, stamped with the precise time and location. The more cameras you pass, the clearer the picture of your movements. All of that data is saved in a database for 30 days, shared with connected police departments, allowing the government to go back in time to see where your car was and when. No warrant required, whether you're suspected of a crime or
Yeah,
not.
what could go wrong
Why
here?
not just do hot list alerts? It's because the investigative value here is immense. Otherwise, you're going back to the old way of policing, which is an eyewitness saw something. They're going to call in and report it. And a police officer has to go stop every yellow Jeep that looked like that, or every person who's described a certain way. Instead, with an LPR, you can actually find the objective data you need. It's the new way of policing, which is precise. Instead of dragnet, it actually becomes precision policing. So I would challenge back that same notion and say, hot listing is not the way to go.
Because police departments...
Yeah, exactly. What happened to just calling the police? Like, you see something, there's enough people that this is a great point. Christopher, for the record, over 75% of all crimes go unreported. Your own eyes are the eyes of justice, but we've been gaslit not to speak. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is all like the consequences of just this is a communication problem. I see this as, really. It's like this is the result of brain rot. Just us being us having a totally different way that we communicate now. Like, we don't really like to make phone calls anymore. It's like text messages. It's like there's not really many like conversations happening like through phone calls, and especially like calling strangers. Like, people don't like to do that anymore. It's like a whole chore. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people can't just call the police. Now, I think that the pro Flock camera people would say over 75% of crime goes unreported. That's why we need Flock cameras, because they would pick up those unreported crimes, or like crimes that happen where there aren't other people seeing. Well, maybe. maybe. I'm sure some of that happens. Again, I'm not saying these are like not doing what they are advertising that their use cases for. I'm not saying they're not doing that. They have to do that to justify it. There has to be a bunch of arrests that they're attributing to Flock cameras and finding missing people and all this. Like, this is literally why there's over 100,000 of them, because these communities are convinced that these are effective.
It's not only saved typically 30 days of every vehicle that passes every one of their cameras, investigators also have access to the same data from every department or private business that shares cameras with them.
We have well over 1,000 cameras that we have access to right now.
Flock says 6,000 local governments use its cameras, many sharing data with each other.
Flock becomes more powerful, not just more profitable, the more...
So this is quite literally a national surveillance network. Now, I don't think there's going to be many cases where a local police department has to tap into like Flock cameras like across the country, maybe across state lines, depending where they are. But like, this is a a national network of surveillance. So this is how they're being used already.
agencies who are part of the network.
That's their entire business model. That's why they're worth $7.5 billion.
The whole idea is crowdsourcing, right?
Yes.
But it's crowdsourcing with agencies rather than the crowd. And the crowd is actually being surveilled by the agencies who are then crowdsourcing with each other.
Yeah, the crowd's the product. We are the product.
Yep.
Jason Hunyar lives...
Not unlike social media, by the way. Like, I saw a bunch of people in replies to some of the posts about these flock cameras, and they were like, oh, well, you know, it's really dismissive kind of argument, but they were like, well, if you think that flock cameras are bad, you should see, like, you should realize what they're doing in your phones and stuff, which is like fair point. But yeah, that's bad too. No one really can. The problem is, people are the difference there is that people are willingly signing up. They're kind of like willingly consenting to carrying around a surveillance device with them when they get a smartphone. That's just what's happening. Unless you have a Graphene OS install on your Google Pixel, essentially you are to some degree being spied on and tracked with your smartphone. So that is true that we all carry around surveillance devices with us. But this is like a totally different precedence where it's like these are actual Orwellian cameras that are installed all across the country that can just spy on the public very openly and blatantly. So both are bad. It's not an either or. It's not like, oh, well, like, forget the spy cams. You have these, like, let's address the devices in our pockets first. No, both of them are bad. And you have control over, the thing is, you can throw your phone into the ocean. You could just run it over with your car and just destroy it. And then you're not being tracked on your phone anymore. Yes, you still have your digital footprint. There's only so much you can do about that. But you can cease being tracked and spied on with your smartphone by just destroying it or getting rid of it, right? That's not the option with these cameras.
In Dunwoody, Georgia, the Atlanta suburb was an early flock customer with cameras all over town.
Dunwoody shares with over 1,000 external agencies all of our data.
So he filed records requests with the city for Flock's audit logs.
Despite 30 records requests, you don't know who's watching you and your family in Dunwoody in other agencies and what they're looking for.
Correct.
Every time somebody logs in and tries to perform a search in Flock, it is cataloged. And that's there in an audit log that's immutable. So there's public accountability in this.
They gave you an estimate of over $500,000 for you as a resident of Dunwoody to see records of the system they're using to surveil you.
Yes. Just to see who is looking at our data.
Who monitors the camera footage?
Hunyar went to city council with the limited Flock audit records Dunwoody gave him.
And there's 2 agencies that are on there that are literally labeled delete and do not use.
Nobody from Flock Safety is accessing or monitoring your footage. Once again, I have evidence of Flock employees looking at parks, schools, playgrounds.
The audit logs also showed Flock executives watching private cameras inside the city's Jewish Community Center, which the mayor confirmed.
Members of the Flock sales team were using it as a demonstration.
Why didn't Flock find us?
They're like, I wonder what goes on in these synagogues. What's going on here? What kind of kabod meeting is going on here? What are they planning? They set them up in the tunnels.
Sorry, we actually can't talk about the JCC by name, so we can talk about something else there.
Well, why can't you talk about the JCC?
Because we've worked with their team and we're not going to talk about that.
A Flock PR person stopped our interview twice when we tried to ask about Flock employees viewing cameras inside the Jewish Community Center.
Did the people in those videos give permission to be part of a demo?
We're not going to answer questions about the JCC. We're not answer questions about the JCC.
Okay, based Flock spying on synagogues. Okay, suddenly I support Flock.
But any partnership goes.
I have to ask the question however you guys want to answer it. You want to say you can't answer it, you can't answer it. That's fine. But I have to ask the question. It's not a PR video. This isn't like a promotional video. I mean, this is...
I think it's pretty clear it's not a PR video. We're good, though. I think that people from the community are raising appropriate concerns about who has access to what cameras. I think it's appropriate to ask those questions. And I think it's appropriate for us to also say that we have...
This guy looks pissed. They don't like being questioned.
How these cameras work.
I'm here to express my support for Flock.
At Dunwoody City Council, one resident spoke up in favor of renewing the Flock contract.
I believe they're a practical and effective tool to help keep our neighborhood safe.
Did you know that family members of Flock employees were going to city council meetings speaking positively about the product without disclosing that their family member makes their living off of Flock?
I did not know that, no.
The speaker did not disclose that his son works for Flock as the senior director of growth.
These cameras assist...
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know Brandeis wrote a book called The Right to Privacy. I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I know you. I've seen you talk about Brandeis before, History of Propaganda. I'd love to have you on to chat about that, because I know very little about him. I only know what I've read through Alison Weir's research. But it sounds like you can tell he's a very centrally connected figure that is largely unknown. Yeah, the leader of Zionism and architect of the Federal Reserve, it's right there. Like, yeah, there's a lot that traces back to Brandeis. So that's interesting. Right to Privacy book. That would be a good read for the book club. I'm trying to read more stuff that's like, the elite's playbook type thing. Like we have on our list Edward Bernays' book called Propaganda. Literally the godfather of propaganda. I wanted to put on there was another one I saw today that I forgot, but yeah, things like that would be good to read. Oh yeah, there was one about was it the CIA and MK Ultra, and like how they used it's almost like a companion to Program to Kill, like how they use how the CIA brainwashes, programs killers and things like that.
Law enforcement.
Should employees' family members disclose that their son makes their entire living off of Flock when speaking positively to a government body about a contract that's pending with your company?
I think that's a fair request.
Dunwoody ultimately voted to renew its Flock contract, but with new restrictions on the company.
So we will no longer be a demonstration location for Flock. That keeps them out of places they should not be.
You told me you weren't in the town of Bomar. I have you roughly 20 times this month alone.
Chrisana Elzer.
It's funny. I'm sorry I keep interrupting this. We're almost done with it. But, you mentioned DARPA. And actually DARPA is like involved in this, as you would expect. But this is like the total information awareness concept was a project that was launched by DARPA in 2002. And the goal was to create this centralized database of for digital footprints for everyone's digital life. And that's like the blueprint for this entire agenda, how all these things connect, how the surveillance state architecture is connected through the data centers, the surveillance cameras, the digital IDs, right? Internet censorship, permission to browse the internet, right? Like the internet itself also was created by DARPA, and then the guy Tim Berners-Lee is his name, who created the World Wide Web, was working at CERN when he created literally the World Wide Web is a CERN creation that is on top of the internet, which is a DARPA creation. So it's almost like this is what it was for all along.
Lives just yards from the same Flock camera used to falsely accuse her of a crime.
It's hard to drive that way and then look up and see it pointed right at you and wondering, did you put my license plate in a system and now it's tinging at you every time it reads it, and now you're just kind of watching me or taking note because you ended up being embarrassed you were wrong?
Every technology comes with a cost. In your view, the benefits outweigh those costs.
There's no question about it.
All right, I'm gonna stop here. I think this is pretty much done. But So this was the police. This was what I was saying earlier. Police have reportedly used license plate readers to stalk romantic interests at least 21 times in recent years. So, like, again, they're, yes, they're recognizing that there's these abuses and they're saying that the benefits outweigh them. Maybe that, like, if you look at statistics and stuff, like, maybe that's true for now. That's the thing. Like, don't be deceived by this, at least initially, looking like on paper that it's doing its job, right? Because it has to be justified first before it's abused in total. What else is there? Yeah, there's another one here. Footage shows a cop stalking a woman he met on a TV set after surveilling her with a license plate reader. This was today. So more and more of these stories are coming out as more attention is drawn to the flock cameras, right? So this is just reported today, July 6th. And here's the video. Does this have audio? Oh. All right, I don't know. It's a dash cam video. I don't know if this video is even playing. I don't think the video... Hang on. I'm not sure if this video works. It's making me sign in. Okay. No, never mind. Yeah, I think I have to sign in to see it. Whatever. But yeah, the cop, Lamar Roman, wasn't trying to pull over a suspected criminal. He was tracking and chasing a woman that he met and harassed on the set of Apple TV Plus show Bad Monkey, which he had worked. That's pretty ironic. Lamar Roman was stalking a woman on the show Bad Monkey, which he had worked a security detail shift on a few weeks prior to pulling her over. After meeting the woman, catcalling her and harassing her for her full name and Instagram details, the cop allegedly...
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $19.99 through Super Chat. JCC in Nashville is tied to MK and receives DARPA and USAID.
Yep, there you go.
Gray Area Monarch was one of the kids experimented on there.
Thank you for the $20. I Asked Dumb Question. Appreciate all the support from you, man. And also... always appreciate the very insightful schizo comments, the connections that you have a vast knowledge of. Yeah, and we're going to get into a little later if I can actually get through. I have so many links that I'm going to hopefully get through everything today, but we're going to get to some of the MK Ultra stuff because I think like I could probably make some, like, not force a connection, but I do see some like a layer of that going on as well. And there was some there was some talk about MK Ultra in the news because it has been revealed, like, we don't know already that the MK Ultra, I think it was a former Fed or something, I don't remember his name, he was talking about how there was an ongoing MK Ultra project that hasn't, it basically didn't stop. It's like, okay, yeah, we know. And there was actually a hearing. What was it? Let me see my links. I'm already getting ahead of myself here, but there was where's the link? I thought I had the link somewhere. Maybe I misplaced it, but yeah, there was a hearing before Congress, I think, about it. Someone could probably weigh in on that. Get with Dyer and World War Now. Oh, I've done plenty of collabs with World War Now. You can go on World War Now and just search Anthony Westgate. I think I'm the most featured guest on the Ether Hour. Conrad and Dimitri are good friends of mine. I love those guys, and they do amazing work. I think they just recently actually covered a lot of what we've been covering here. So it's good to see some fellow Orthodox, independent reporters doing this work and covering the emerging surveillance state, because this is happening. This is like indefinitely the thing that's happening that we have to be prepared for. And Dyer, I did a recent collab with Jay as well for our book club. He came on and we talked about Operation Gladio. So you can check that out.
Dumb Questions donated $9.99 through Super Chat. TBFMK is tied to everything now, so it's hard not to see the connections. USMK in the brain space is akin to Microsoft's share primacy in the OS space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw, this is not directly related, but did you guys see this? That there was a leak that exposed Peter Thiel started a secret society, or I don't know if he started it, but he's in one with all these tech elites. More than 200 of the world's elites registered for a retreat whose agenda runs from panels on cult building and sex to prepping for World War III. An associated app offers matchmaking. And we know that Thiel had just recently bought property in Argentina, and he's moving. If he hasn't already, he's moving to Argentina. So thank you, Peter Thiel, for building our digital prisons and then fleeing the country before before we find out. So there was a ton of reports on this. This was, I think, a couple weeks ago. People were talking about this. Here's another one on Wired. Oh, no, that's what I just showed. I thought I had another one. I thought I had okay, this here. No, it's the same. Okay, I have two of the same links saved. Never mind. So yeah, it's just unrelated, but kind of related. You can thank him for all this. There's another report here of flock cameras that were over 100 of them that were set to go dark at the end of June after city council voted to shut them down, and they have just remained on. They didn't go off, and the police are still using them. And so he goes through all the cases here. When reporters asked simple questions like, is data still being collected? Do the cameras shut off or keep recording? Who can access what was already stored? It turned out that neither the city nor Flock would answer.
Cameras went dark, Flock contract ended. But if you thought the cameras went dark, they didn't. They're not off.
Correct. They're still operational, at minimum until July 15th, when City Council is set to meet again to discuss how they want to proceed.
So what does that mean?
Essentially, they're operable. We're still able to use them should we need them to keep the public safe.
Last Friday, Cleveland City Council President Glenn Griffin sent this memo to Safety Committee Chair Mike Polensek to schedule a second hearing for a quote more.
So they can just keep them on and be like, the public's not safe yet. We decided the public isn't safe, and so we got to keep on the cameras until they're safe. Then we'll turn them off. All right, that's like never.
Review and discussion.
It's ridiculous, and it's incredibly disappointing.
Community activist Bryn Adams with Flock No says the city should instead invest in root causes of crime.
I think if the police
that sounds racist.
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $19.99 through Super Chat. The tech CEOs/board members all have their own niche yet connected groups. Zuck, Elon, it's similar to how the high-level Scientologists are each tasked.
Tech CEO. Sorry, I don't know if you guys are hearing the TTS or if I'm just hearing it, so I apologize if it's like going silent, but tech CEOs and board members all have their own niche yet connected groups. Zuck, Elon, it's similar to how the high-level Scientologists are tasked with creating their own cults. Remember the spin principle diagram? I don't think I remember that, actually. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I covered this in my Epstein occult dossier, how he was a member of multiple secret societies that we didn't even know existed, right? There's like, who knows how many there are. Like, you don't even find out until there's a leak, and then you find out that they exist. And there's all these elites connected to them. Tech bro elites are like, they're part of the club now. They've been part of the club for a while. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, we just saw, like, I covered this in a previous stream, how like Elon and what's the Nvidia guy, the Chinese guy? They were brought to China with Trump. Like the Trump admin was in China, and they brought all these tech bros with them. Yeah, I mean, they're the architects of the surveillance state, so they're working with the government. That's not really surprising at all.
Cherry-picked anecdotal evidence about specific cases they've closed, that will still not be compelling to me because it's still not making the city safer.
I think it's always a challenge because if law enforcement is telling you that this is a valuable tool and it's providing value to us, then you're reluctant to let it go away.
CSU law professor Jonathan Whitmer-Rich says figuring out what reduces crime is very complicated.
To say that this technology, hasn't.
It's not actually that complicated.
Well, it's hard to prove exactly what is, reducing crime. And
okay, so like spy on the whole population of U.S. civilians to figure out what's causing crime. If that's what this experiment is for, do you guys really think they're going to face the reality of what's going on? Do we really need spy cameras for that?
I think council needs to look seriously at what the data shows, how this is being used, but I wouldn't rule it out of hand as having,
We have FBI reports.
Police pointed to its technology, including the license plate readers, for an arrest here on Clark Avenue of the guy accused of shooting 2 people with a blow dart.
PR spin.
What?
I think, we know that in other places in the country, Flock has invested heavily in crisis management.
In their own news release, police said one of the victims knew the suspect. So did the cameras really make a difference in catching the guy a day later? Police say yes, as one of several tech tools.
Yeah, we could have definitely gone old school. And old school means it could have taken us weeks. So we could have had a suspect out there for weeks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, who wants to be online in the coming times? It's 95% fake and gay, dead internet generative AI bots already. No one needs the internet, and more people will slowly realize it. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I just finished writing an article on this that I will be publishing probably tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe over on the reversion.co. I wrote an article about this launching. I guess I figured I'd do this. I mean, I already showed this before, but I guess I'll give you guys a preview of the of what I built. Now, this is not a solution to that because it is also online. It's a forum. But what this forum was built for is to prepare for being offline, whether that be some kind of crisis scenario, some catastrophic event that may be coming soon, or it's just time to unplug and go off grid and start building local communities. This is a forum specifically designated to, focused on that cause. So one of the projects that we'll be doing here is archiving digital information, real stuff, like while we have access to it. There's a wealth of knowledge, not just on survival and off-grid preparedness, but obviously a ton of increasingly growing orthodox resources that are now only online. Okay, so spiritual works that are very beneficial to us, and especially within the digital age that we don't have like all this patristic work on, right? All these blogs and things that are written by clergy, and even like what comes to mind, for example, is there was actually I posted it here. So I'm starting to collect some resources on orthodoxy and technology, right? So like we have a letter from Bishop Luke of Syracuse, who wrote on the spiritual dangers of artificial intelligence. And this is, in PDF form. It's only available online. I got to fix that. So yeah, I'm still working on this. So I got to just make sure all the links are working. But And I have it set so that at least by the time I launch it, we'll be able to upload and download larger files so we can share entire libraries and things like that. So again, it's not a solution because it is also online, but it's just kind of a project for having spending time online in a more focused manner in preparation of, unplugging. So yeah, and I cover in the article all the dead internet theory stuff, which is actually not even a theory anymore. So yeah, good comment there. Yeah, Project Nomad. I literally posted something on that. Where is it? I posted on that somewhere, unless I lost that post. Let me see. Yeah, I think I had to reset the database. I might have lost it, but I literally posted about that, like building an orthodox Project Nomad, basically like what Project Nomad is, but including all of these wikis that are that you can actually like download entire wikis. Like we have the Orthodox wiki, we have Orthodox info, we have all these great resources, these wikis that are in danger of being unavailable just for literally any reason. I mean, they're not really maintained anymore. They are not up to date in security, and we're just kind of relying on a single maintainer keeping the site up, and anything could happen where it's no longer available. And then no one did the work to make an offline copy. So that's exactly the kind of stuff I'm talking about here. So we need to really get to work. So that's what this website, permanet.xyz, is for. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, you can read about it when I publish the article. If not tomorrow, it's sometime by the end of the week. I plan to have this launched for the public, so you can get an early start if you want there. I'll link it in the chat. So, okay, were we done with that video? What else is there on the flock cameras? California resident exposes what's really going on with the flock cameras in America. Okay, is there a video to this so I don't have to read it? Here we go.
In District 4 for 15 years. I'm here to introduce DFlock Corona, a community coalition asking this council to cancel the city's contract with flock safety and remove the cameras that have been deployed throughout our city. Our website is dflock-corona.org. I'm here because new flock cameras were recently installed between my home and my daughter's school. So now every time I make that drive, my family's being photographed and logged into a giant corporate database. I want to be clear what these cameras actually are, and I say that with somebody with 20 years of experience in IT. I've served as the chief network architect for Fortune 500 companies. I've designed data centers, and today I work on cloud infrastructure for one of the largest loan origination companies in the country. I'm not speculating on how this technology works. I've read their patents, and I know how it works. Flock advertises these cameras as simple license plate readers. Their own patents tell a different story. They're AI-powered surveillance machines that capture every passing vehicle and person and transmit that data to a private corporate cloud, making it queryable by a multitude of state and federal agencies. The city of Corona does not control that database, and Corona residents have no public record rights against a private company's servers. Our daily movements are being harvested by a $7.5 billion corporation that only answers to venture capital investors, not to us. Flock did not reach that valuation on their per camera subscription fees. That math doesn't add up. The city council should also understand who they're doing business with. Flock's CEO was asked whether the company had any federal contracts. He said no, that was a lie. Public records revealed that Flock had been secretly running a pilot program giving the U.S. Border Patrol access to local police camera data without the knowledge of the cities that paid for the cameras. Now consider who's behind the company and where your data flows. Flock integrates directly with Palantir, a data fusion platform with a $30 million contract with ICE. Peter Thiel, the founder of Palantir, is also one of Flock's primary investors. These are not separate companies with separate agendas. They are connected actors that are building a connected infrastructure. Palantir's own CEO stated publicly just this month that his technology is being used as a political instrument designed to reduce the political power of certain voters. And that's the ecosystem that our Corona cameras are feeding into. We're not anti-police at all. We're against mass surveillance of innocent residents by a company with a documented record of deception, built by investors with a stated political agenda. We're asking the City Council to start auditing the queries made against Flock's database to disclose any data sharing agreements and to take a vote to cancel the Flock safety.
It's like, okay, I don't know if I appreciate that. I mean, maybe that's the answer. Go to city councils and like try to get them to vote against something that no one voted for to begin with. But I'm very pessimistic when it comes to taking going to the ballot box with this kind of thing, especially if it's all bureaucratic. You might see these cases of winning these local winning over local councils and stuff and having them uninstalled, but they're going up at a rate that we can't even keep up with. So it's like we're already fighting a losing battle, in my opinion. Even the same thing with like when it comes to like destroying them, right? It's like, okay, you can take down a few or whatever, but you're just selling more Flock cameras to Flock. Like you're just making them more money. You shouldn't, by the way, go and use apparently infrared is something that you shouldn't use. Infrared lights. If you have access to one, you should not. I'm not condoning using infrared lights to mess with Flock cameras. I'm just going to leave it at that. So also, there's this here. All right, here's another instant. I'm not going to even go through. I mean, there's countless videos like this, but I'll just go through a couple more here. Now, this was a Flock camera that was installed at a mall. Where is this? I don't even know where this is. Arbor, maybe Michigan. Outside of a mall, and it's facing the entrance and exit to the mall.
The CEO likes to claim that their cameras are merely for license plates. Their sole purpose is to scan license plates. What is that?
I mean, in their defense, it's a security. They're using it for security. I don't even know if they're being, are they even being advertised as just license plate readers? I mean, that's just like they installed a security camera on their property. That's how I see that. This one, now that I look at it, is like, you're on private property, right? Someone owns this property. They're within their legal right to put up a surveillance camera on their property. That I actually don't have a problem with. Yeah, it's not for cars. Yeah, it's a security camera. It says security. I mean, that one's kind of dumb, actually, to be honest. I think that's all I got for the Flock cameras. I think you get the idea there. Oh, okay, one more here. This one's pretty interesting. Now, this was posted back, this was in March, okay? So this was in March. This guy did a report. This is a whole YouTube video on this, but this is a 5-minute clip from it where, I don't even know if I'll play this whole thing, but he basically discovered that the security is like really bad, obviously. Like, I mean, that depends on the user. So if you have people who are using Flock cameras and they just are, setting really bad passwords or no passwords, and I'm sure there's ways to even get through, like to brute force the password or something. Like these things get hacked all the time. But he was able to get in pretty easily.
Of Flock safety cameras. A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of flock safety cameras. I shared this information with 404 Media, and with John Gaines' help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are. You don't have to be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days. Whether you wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. You could even open up the live streams in VLC or cast it to a television. Making any modification to the cameras is illegal, so I didn't do this, but I had the ability to delete any of the video footage or evidence by simply pressing a button. I could see the paths where all of the evidence files were located on the file system, and I could see their hashes and signatures. Some of the devices we saw were the familiar-looking Falcon cameras that you see all over the country, but the majority of these were Flock's new Condor cameras, which are designed to detect and track people. They're PTZ cameras, meaning pan, tilt, zoom, and they quite literally use AI to zoom in and follow you around whether you're a person of interest or not. In just the time that it took to count and verify these vulnerabilities, I saw a family in North Carolina load their infant and a bunch of merchandise in a Lowe's parking lot. And I suppose one could cross-reference their license plate with the Park Mobile data breach and find out exactly where the garage is that will store these new fancy tools. I watched a man...
You know, I could see... I'm going to stop this here, but when you think about the digital ID and like how that's going to tie into all this, you can kind of see where this is going, but... what was this one? That's what I was just playing. Okay. So let's get into some other developments that are related here. Now, what should I cover first here? Let's look at some of the, because there's only a few stories here, but this was the big one that was going around last week, or maybe, last week. This is, the internet could change if the U.S. House passes the Kids Act today to protect children. If you have been viewing the stream the past few...
Ask Dumb Questions donated $19.99
Thank you, man.
Through Super Chat. IT guys right, I used to install similar. Look up purple.ai for businesses to measure footfall traffic MCD. Most company Wi-Fi is spying on...
most company Wi-Fi spying on you, even if you don't connect, by monitoring your hardware ID on your phone. Yep. That's why you should just, if you have to bring your phone around with you, use a Faraday bag. I'm not even sure that I believe that would stop that, but it's probably the least you can do. Is this what you're talking about? Purple.ai? What is this? Thank you for the 20, by the way, man. I always appreciate your fat donos, man. Is this what you're talking about? Purple.ai, guest staff and multi-tenant Wi-Fi. What? So what do they do? Oh, guess what? Yeah, you should, I've said this before, you should not connect to guest Wi-Fi anywhere. It's like a target for hackers. Like you're kind of like inviting hackers to access your data. But I'll have to look into this. Like this looks like a pretty like not nefarious website if you look at this, but I'm sure install similar. Okay, I used to install similar for business to measure football traffic for McDonald's. Okay, so this is like for private companies. Oh, McDonald's here. McDonald's Belgium partnered with Purple. Free and secure guest Wi-Fi network across 80 locations. So what's like the threat here? I can't see from the website obviously because it's all PR, but Anyway, so what were we looking at? Yeah, okay, so this is the Kids Act, right? It's same language, the same vocabulary as the Patriot Act, right? Who doesn't want to get behind the Kids Act? Oh, what are you against kids' online safety? The Kids Act is a package of around a dozen bills that pairs a revised Kids Online Safety Act with new age verification, AI chatbot, and messaging rules. Digital rights group EFF warns the design would pressure platforms. Okay.
Dumb Questions donated $19.99 through Super Chat. Even if you don't connect, your cell/wireless is sending probes out to Wi-Fi and cell, broadcasting your ID. It monitors footfall, how many people visited,
how long they visited, if connected, it tracks them on social media. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, like I've seen stuff about like routers can actually, like people can track you from your routers. Like they can get like a read of the rooms in your house and stuff. I don't know quite how that works, but even just routers are like tracking devices. It's really blackpilling, man. Like the more you go down this rabbit hole, it's like there's the constant temptation to just go Uncle Ted mode. Build the cabin in the woods and just escape all this. But the thing is, I think that is that's a cop out. I've talked about that before, but if you go to let me see here. If you go to this article, for example, I think actually Metropolitan Saba just commented on that. Where does he say it? Somewhere here. He basically says, like, it's not like the way to approach technology is not a total escape. Like you don't. I quoted it in the article I'm going to publish, so I don't know where. Maybe it was in the article. Maybe it was in the original. Let me see here. Yeah, I think it was on his. Maybe it was on his Substack. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I don't know exactly where it is, but there's also a related quote in. I lost that one too, huh? In this here, if you want to read about a great writing from this is, I think I covered this on another. No, this isn't it. This isn't it either. Okay, never mind. I don't have access to it right now, but yeah, it's basically like from a monk, and he's talking about how like the way out is not a total retreat. It's to use technology for like to submit it to the church, right? It's not to just abandon technology. It's to submit it to the obedience of Christ. It's easier said than done, but the way to approach it is like there's a middle road. It's not to abandon it completely. Like how the church adopted the printing press, right? We wouldn't have access to all these great books, these spiritual works, if the church had not turned the monasteries into publishing centers, right?
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $9.99 through Super Chat. PC Mag article today. A hacker's arrest reveals Microsoft can track users via a Windows device ID. Most people already knew this, but it's similar tech that Purple lead.
Most people already knew this, but it's similar tech that Purple leverages, but for your phone. Oh, wow. So it's like a full-scale like tracking network using Wi-Fi, if I'm getting that right. Congrats on the trophy. Oh, wait, sent goat trophy. Okay, I'm new to these YouTube whatever bits or whatever they're called. But thank you, Layman Pundit, for the goat trophy for 1,000 joules. I don't know what any of that means, but thank you. I got a goat. I'll take that as greatest of all time and not the satanic goat. So back to this kids. Thank you again for, I want to always thank you for the donations. As always, I ask dumb questions. I apologize if I don't thank you for each individual one. I always appreciate your comments, though. So yeah, getting back to the Kids Act here. This is a Trojan horse for digital IDs. Don't get it mistaken at all. This is exactly what this is. Okay, we think about, you can think about COVID, right? What was the whole justification for getting everyone in line for the jabbies? Well, it was for the greater good. It was like to protect everyone. It was safety and security, just in medical terms, right? Kind of the same justification. So this is for, they're going to implement this for the Epstein elite want to babysit your kids online now. That's what this is. Digital rights group EFF warns the design would pressure platforms to age check all users, not just minors, since liability can attach when a service should have known user's age and flags new rules touching encrypted and disappearing messages. Sponsors Brett. Okay, so again, a Republican and a Democrat. So you have, this is a bipartisan bill that they're putting together. So U.S. House, and they passed it too, by the way. This isn't speculative. They passed this. Yeah, exactly. They're worried about kids, but don't want to arrest any of the Epstein PDFs. Exactly. 0 arrests. But now they care about, instead of making corn illegal and things that children shouldn't be looking at, they want to do digital IDs for everyone. And the EFF is saying that's not a conspiracy theory. The EFF has been around again for a long time. They specialize in online privacy, and they know exactly what this is about. So they're saying that this is going to apply to everyone. They're going to pressure these platforms to age check all users. I mean, we see that happening with Discord, for example. We just saw this back in, maybe 5 months ago with Discord, how they have a digital or an age check verification system that's connected to a Palantir adjacent Israeli company that's collecting all the data on people submitting their IDs, and that is what's verifying if Discord users are granted access to adult channels, and that adult meaning 18 plus, not necessarily not safe for work, although it usually is that. But so it's like instead of pressuring these platforms to ban corn, everyone's got to scan their ID. That's how this is going to be rolled out. And so this is a real thing that's happening. This is no longer just like maybe this will happen. It looks like they're talking about it. It has passed through U.S. House. And this is all going to be in effect by next year. And not just this, but you're going to see on the operating system level, which I've talked about plenty of times before. They're already preparing for operating systems, iOS, Mac OS, Windows. They're trying to do it on Linux. I don't know how they're going to do it. But they're preparing these OSs to ship their updates with age verification. So that's where you should check out. Not out of like using computers, but like I've been saying, we're going to hit a point very soon, I think, where you're going to have to make a choice. I think this is kind of like, again, I'm not familiar with Paul Kingsnorth's work, but I think from what I'm familiar with, he kind of suggests something similar, that there's going to be like two paths to take. One is like almost like a neo-Luddite, where you just go like the Uncle Ted route, and then the other is like caution. I don't know if he even advocates for like using technology cautiously, but that's what I would propose. It's like you're going to either have to just unplug completely or learn how to, get a little bit nerdy. If you want to keep using technology, you're going to have to use really inconvenient software. You have to use inconvenient software. You're going to have to learn how to like do some nerdy stuff to some degree to work your way around this stuff. Because it's all going to come at the expense of convenience. You want to keep browsing online as you always did? Well, you just scan your ID and it's no problem. Why is that a big problem? Just scan your ID. You just get the jabby, right? And then you can go back to your normal life. That's the same. It's going to be the same exact precedence here. So to opt out, you're going to be opting out of a lot of conveniences that we have from becoming so dependent on these technologies. Also in the EU, I mean, this is just even worse in the EU. The EU is just totally cooked. Why are these videos just such bad quality?
Yes, of course.
It's really low volume.
It's difficult, of course.
It looked like someone's holding them hostage.
Technological solutions that
I mean, I guess you can't even hear that, but this is European Parliament. They're basically saying that they're planning to require a passport to access the internet. So it's exactly what we're talking about. They want to block VPNs, of course, because that's how you can circumvent that. New age verification system cannot be bypassed via VPN. Okay. So like I said, you're going to just have to you're going to have to start getting nerdy. There's always going to be, like, we already have, I know there's at least one decentralized VPN that like scatters the nodes everywhere. I think it's called NIM VPN, is it? Yeah, this here. So something like this might be a solution if they can manage to stay afloat. And don't pay any attention to this. That's my VPN right there.
$9.99 through Super Chat. The Globo Homo company I used to work for got their MECA license this week.
Thank you for the 10 and for the 5 that I missed here. I missed this comment. Digital ID will turn the internet into a government classroom where every comment is taken seriously while true degen is is ignored. Yeah. Yep. I mean, they're doing that. Like they're already. So yeah, let's get into this because this is a good segue into this. But yeah, so my NIM or nym.com. I guess I don't use this, but I do use a VPN for everything. But something like this might be worth looking into. Mixed net mode. I guess they have. I don't know exactly how this works, but whatever. Anyway, yeah. So is there some? Oh yeah, and then just today, Virginia is rolling out a state-issued digital ID.
DMV is rolling out Virginia Mobile ID, a digital version of your driver's license kept on your cell phone. While you still have to carry your physical license, the digital ID is accepted at more than 350 TSA locations across the country, at select ABC stores, businesses, and by certain law enforcement agencies. In Charlottesville, the digital ID is not yet accepted at the Charlottesville-Albemarle Regional Airport or by police, but can be used at select businesses in the city.
It is quick, secure, and safe. You have
sure.
the ability to control the information that you share. When you're passing over your ID, there's a lot of information that you're sharing. But with the Virginia Mobile ID, it's a
Trust
QR
us.
code and a picture of you. The entity that's scanning the QR code will only see the information that they need to see to verify
They don't need to see anything.
your identity or age.
Representatives say the program is continuing to add new agencies to the list of accepted locations, and you can find more information on where and how to use the mobile ID.
Yep, that's the new that's it. Quick, secure, and safe. Yep. It's totally hard. Just install an app. That's all you got to do. Just install an app. You can continue consuming all of your slop. Continue scrolling. You just install this app, verify your ID. You can keep driving, keep scrolling. Get your life back, you know. Yep, it's exactly the same narrative. So that's happening in Virginia. And then this is happening in Texas. Supreme Court declines to block Texas's App Store age verification law for users under 18. So this is happening for App Store, I guess the Apple App Store, which I've covered before, how they're already, and you know, we can get into some of the censorship that's happening here, but app stores, this has been ongoing with the App Store. They're always censoring stuff. If you want to publish an app on the Apple App Store, you often have to block a plethora of search terms. Both the Great Replacement and Great Replacement are specifically listed. No, I love thinking about the devs that have to like come up with like what other slurs are there? Like that's like people got paid for this. Like what slurs can we come up with? What kind of gamer words can we ban? Yeah, people are talking about Odyssey. So Odyssey is another decentralized. I think they use IPFS, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so Jew is banned from the. you can't type in Jew in the App Store. Okay, but they block a bunch of COVID terms as well. So there you go. I don't know if I'm going to get hit with a copy or a hit with a strike on my channel for even showing that, but
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $9.99 through Super Chat. What they are talking about is ZKP, zero knowledge proofs. The receiver gets a true/false response to the query. I.e., is this person over 21?
Yeah, zero knowledge proofs, yeah. It's crazy. True or false, but the government and KYC company hold the data. Yeah, exactly. And the government, I mean, we've known for a long time from WikiLeaks that the government has direct interfaces to social media platforms and all of these age verification apps. Like these are all designed for the government to access to collect our data. So also there's Wikipedia censorship going on too. This kind of slipped under the radar. I didn't see anyone talking about this. Follow Lunduke Journal on Twitter. He's a great follow. He covers all this stuff. The co-founder of Wikipedia was blocked indefinitely from editing Wikipedia. The banning was enacted after Larry Sanger called for Wikipedia to commit intellectual diversity to reinforce genuine neutrality on June 18th. So he was banned from Wikipedia. He was a co-founder of Wikipedia who was blocked from editing anything because he thinks that the articles are too biased. That's why we need to, like, again, that ties into the project that I'm trying to get started on this, on this web forum where we're archiving, like Wikipedia. You can get like older versions of the entirety of Wikipedia, like before it got really biased. I mean, if there was ever a time that it was unbiased, that was, more, let's say more balanced, if there was a time for that. Because it's going in this direction now where it's, you might not be able to do early life checks anymore. So this comes after years of reports of Wikipedia discriminating against conservatives, Christians, and Jews. This banning from Wikipedia came less than 24 hours after Larry Sanger received an award from Tablet. This is a Jewish magazine. For, you guessed it, creating Wikipedia. And he's been talking about this a lot too. And this guy himself is a Jew, so it's like They're both co-founders of Wikipedia are Jewish. And I guess he was this Larry Sanger wanted a little bit more diversity intellectually. So there's also this is the same report from what is this, Jewish News or something? JNS, what is this? Wikipedia bans co-founder indefinitely for promoting initiative to make it less biased, including against Jews in Israel. I can't tell if that is like, what does he mean by bias? Like, who knows what that even means? But I'd have to look more into the. So he's saying we did not want to push Wikipedia to be pro anything, just not exclusively pro gasp. He said, referring to a globalist, academic, secular, and progressive point of view. Okay, that's respectful. It is ridiculous that after October 7th, anti-Semitism became open and even mandatory on Wikipedia. Okay, so this is what I mean. It's like, who knows what that even means, but nevertheless, there's a battle for which direction Wikipedia is going in. I can't tell from these two Jewish co-founders over like which direction they're pushing for, but that guy sells a USB of 70,000 books. It has books that tell the truth. Oh, really? Interesting. Interesting. This guy here, Larry Sanger. So there you go. Yeah, that's like that makes sense that's what it's about. So, okay, we got through all that stuff. Now, there was another thing I wanted to cover because it's like this is something that I haven't really seen many people talk about in relation to the digital IDs. We know that they're going to tie into the market, right? Like making like everyday purchases for goods and food and services and just general economic activity, right? Because it is like essentially a beast system, maybe the beast system. And so it acts as I'm not saying it's the mark of the beast, but it does kind of act like people were saying similar things about the vaccine, right? It's like you can kind of tell that this is perhaps a precursor or a mark of the beast like system. Well, the same's happening for the digital IDs. And so one thing that has been covered in depth that is, another thing that's kind of just slipped under the radar. This is what's being called surveillance pricing that's happening across America. You see this happening in like Walmart, I believe, and some other stores, airlines. So this is it's basically AI dynamically adjusted pricing based on your digital footprint. So the AI learns your behaviors, your fears, your impulses, and all these things that generate economic activity from you as an individual. And it structures individual pricing for products based on your tracking of your digital footprint. And so there's all these reports of people purchasing the same product in the same store and paying different prices based on their, based on their data, based on like their behaviors and things like that. So this was reported. I mean, this was back in April. This was being reported on. How many of you heard of this?
There are questions about what you search for online and whether it affects the price you pay. As ABC's Hannah Batal reports, it comes after somebody complained about the cost of a JetBlue ticket and the airline responded.
It started as a complaint online about the price of an airline ticket, but it could have far deeper implications. Over the weekend, a traveler posted, "I love flying JetBlue, but a $230 increase on a ticket after one day is crazy. I'm just trying to make it to a funeral." The airline responded, saying, "Try clearing your cache and cookies or booking with an incognito window." Critics were quick to claim JetBlue was using what's known as surveillance pricing.
Every day, our phones and devices.
So, and this is something that I think most of you know about when you're purchasing airline tickets. There's kind of like that old trick where, you open an incognito window, because if you spend too much time browsing different prices and different flights and different airlines, all the trackers that are tracking your browser activity, they pick up on that and they start to adjust the prices and make it more, they make it higher because you become more desperate as you're browsing. And so this is like, it probably uses like your hardware ID. So it like doesn't even matter if you're using an incognito window. And it's based on your, it's based on your like entire digital footprint. So like, it doesn't even matter for a single browsing session.
Collect massive amounts of personal data on us. And now businesses may be using this trove of personal information to charge each of us a different price for the exact same product or service.
Many implied that JetBlue
WU block.
telling the traveler he could get a lower price if he erased.
And I'll just say on that note, also use Brave browser if you don't already, because it has excellent built-in ad blocking. I haven't seen a single ad on YouTube since I started using Brave years ago. I forgot what, like, I wouldn't even, like, if I saw an ad on YouTube, I'd be like, what's going on? Like, something severely wrong has happened. It's been like pretty much 10 out of 10, like for blocking tracking and ads. But I have it layered, I layer that on like a lot of other stuff that I'm running on my network, so I rarely see ads.
The data JetBlue had received about him through his online searches. But JetBlue denies that, saying the reply from our JetBlue crew member on social media was incorrect, and we apologize for the error. JetBlue fares are not
just a side note, sorry, I'm like just a side note, if you guys don't know, if I need to sell you on Brave anymore, this is the founder of Mozilla. He also created JavaScript, which not a fan of JavaScript, but he created Mozilla and basically got he was forced to resign from Mozilla because he supported, or he was rather opposed to same-sex marriage. So Brandon Ike, he's our guy, blocking ads for us so we don't have to see YouTube slop ads. And so, people have a problem with Brave because it's funny because like leftoids don't use Brave because of him, but a lot of more like privacy conscious people, they hesitate to use Brave because it's got all this crypto stuff in it that you can just turn off, but I haven't had any issues with that. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Determined by cached data or other personal information. It's not just airlines who have been accused of surveillance pricing.
Nearly 200 shoppers, 4 U.S. cities, they all went on the app Instacart. They shopped for the exact same basket of foods at the same time. What they found at one store in Seattle, a box of crackers was $3.99 for some shoppers. For others, it was $4.89.
A recent study showed people using
crackers,
Instacart
$5 for crackers,
despite shopping for the same item. The company ended the program a short time later. But experts say surveillance pricing is still being used by rideshare apps, major grocery retailers, and even pharmacies.
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Brendan
Thank you.
got one gayed and lost it on the May.
Yeah. Thank you for another $10. I Ask Dumb Questions. I appreciate all the very generous support tonight, brother. Yeah. Here's another one. Oops. Yeah, I can't. This one I can't access probably because of my VPN. There you go. In real time. I'm not going to turn it off because that will make a problem. But this was an article about Walmart's actually, you know what? Let me see here. I think I archived this. Yep. Oh no, I can't view it on archive.org either. Do I have a... hang on a sec. Let me just archive this real quick, and then I could maybe get access to it. But anyway, I'll move on here. So EFF again. This is June 11th. Yes, to California's bill to ban surveillance pricing. So you have some states that are at least, having some kind of votes to ban this activity. I don't know how they would actually do that. But so you can see that it's happening on, state level. All right, so there's a bunch of information on this bill. Did this? Nope, I couldn't archive that because I'm behind my VPN. Here's another report from ABC. Wait, did I just play this one?
Just how many?
There's another report from CBS.
Well, this holiday season, you and your neighbor could be shopping for the exact same item and pay different prices. CBS News correspondent Evan Moon explains what surveillance pricing is and how your personal data plays a role.
You may be shopping for gifts from the comfort of your couch, but stores can still see who you are.
Most of these companies are charging you a different price based on some data they have about you. It could be your location, it could be your proximity to the store, it could be your shopping history, knowing that you bought a product previously and are willing to pay for it again.
It's a practice most people aren't aware of.
Do you know what surveillance pricing is?
No, never heard of it. What is it?
Consumer Watchdog President Jamie Court
We're
says
cooked.
surveillance pricing is nearly impossible to avoid.
You can try to limit how much information they have about you.
So how are they going to ban it?
Genie's out of the bottle, unfortunately.
Court says his organization has evidence all the major retailers use personal algorithms to nudge a price up or down, targeting data from your
See, the thing is, let's say California passes this bill that bans surveillance pricing. So that's only going to apply to companies in California. Most purchases now online are made through Amazon. And, you have, I don't even know how that would work because Amazon's distributed all over the country. You have the warehouses all over. It's and then you have sellers that are from different parts of the country, even different parts of the world that are selling on Amazon. So I don't even know how that would work with Amazon in particular. And then that's not to say you have all these other companies that you're buying goods online from or services online that aren't going to be subject to whatever bans your state has on surveillance pricing. So this stuff is unavoidable. It's good if certain states do ban it. I'm in support of that. It's just not enough. You're just, again, this is another losing battle.
Amazon cart, Uber rides, or even the brand of laptop you're using to shop.
No, it wouldn't surprise me, but I would probably monitor pricing on a general basis more frequently.
And for those traveling for the holidays,
Airlines will charge you a different price depending upon how many times you go to the website.
he says using a private browsing mode is one strategy.
Used to be you had to shop around to get the best price. Now you have to shop around and pretend you're not you. It's nuts.
But Jameson Spivak with the Future Privacy Forum says all the data collection could mean lower prices for some frequent shoppers.
Personalized pricing can benefit consumers through individualized discounts.
Just consume
or
more.
Loyalty programs that reward consumers for repeat business.
What's up? This guy's got a crazy beard. What's up with his beard hairline?
Currently, there is no federal regulation for companies that use surveillance pricing.
All right, so you get the idea. I mean, this is basically, a social credit system. So again, you can see where this is going, how digital IDs are going to be tied to this, right? It's going to be even more unavoidable because they won't even need to use your whole entire digital footprint is going to be tied to your digital ID. So think about if you have to use your digital ID to even access the internet, you can open as many incognito windows as you want. That's not going to do jack shit. Sorry. It's not going to do anything. So these companies, you think they don't know about the incognito window? Come on, we're so far past this now. Keep in mind, we're using all the technology that we have access to it by permission. the government and the military, they're using they're like 10 years ahead. We are the test dummies. We are the sheep. And it's funny they call them flock cameras, right? Because like we're basically sheep to them. But we are the beta testers for what's been built 10 years ago already. It's now hitting the public after it's been built like 10 years ago. So they've already moved on to the next thing, like that probably the next 5 things or something. They're so far ahead of us that it's, like you think the US military with or any military really for that matter, the Israeli military, you think with their drones, they're using ChatGPT with their AI drones. That's like the pleb level. All the stuff that we get is for plebs. That's like the pleb tier technology. ChatGPT and all this AI slop that we're making, it's all for plebs. Yeah, they can transcribe words from braid signals now. Yeah, again, this is another technology. They've had this for decades. We're just now finding out about it, if you are even, privy of this stuff, really. It's still a very small percentage of us who are even aware that this stuff's going on. What else is there here? So another one this is from Cyber News. What do we know about Walmart's emotional recognition technology? So they're using facial recognition technology to scan for your emotional responses, like when you see products and prices and stuff, and then they adjust the pricing to that. A woman who decided to buy a $3 pair of shoes was unpleasantly surprised to find that by the time she brought them to the checkout counter, they already cost $19. So there you have products now increasing in price from the moment you take them off the shelf to when you go to the checkout to pay for them. Like within that time frame of you putting them in your shopping cart and then going to pay for them, they've increased, by 10% or by 100% or something. Or whatever. It's just totally dynamic. It's like there's no, it could just adjust to whatever the AI determines is a feasible price for you to pay based on your emotions. Just absolutely insane Orwellian. Like this is like Orwell couldn't even have imagined this stuff. I mean, Orwell, it's funny with Orwell because he wasn't really, people consider him like a prophet, but he was just recognizing the kind of a communist tyranny of his time, and the surveillance isn't a new thing. This has been going on forever. All right, so I think I got through all my links. We did it, chat. Was there anything else here? Let me see. So yeah, do you guys want to get into some MK Ultra stuff? So this is kind of related here. The amount ties into dead internet theory.
Dumb questions donated $9.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you, man.
The current big thing is ban, body area networks, and IAT, which is old. And mind mesh networks have been around since the 70s.
Yep. Yeah, Internet of Things is very old. Yeah, I mean, Internet of Things is a huge. That was another huge psyop. It's like how you have these refrigerators that connect to the internet now, which that was one of the things people were mentioning about how ridiculous these digital ID laws are, because they want to apply these age verification checks to any device that connects to the internet. That would include Internet of Things. That includes all the IoT devices. Refrigerators, smart TVs, Roomba vacuums. You're going to have your Roomba. Imagine your Roomba vacuum. You need a digital ID to verify your identity to use your Roomba to do to scan the layout of your house for a company that's probably tied to the government or something. You're having a robot doing geo-tracking on the inside of your house and using your digital ID to verify it. Yeah, the mesh networks too. But that is a technology we can utilize that I think would benefit us, unless I don't know enough about how how the mesh networks work. But to my knowledge, you can set up encrypted offline mesh networks that you can communicate with people pretty easily, pretty cheaply and easily. So that's one thing I'm pushing for. So this is another one from the Lunduke Journal. The amount of AI generated content is exploding across all major publishing platforms, even with video. If these numbers are to be believed, and they seem to roughly be in line with what can easily be observed, 59% of TikTok videos and 21% of YouTube videos shown to new accounts are AI generated, with 97% of videos tagged with cartoon kids being created entirely by AI. So now kids are being MK Ultra'd with AI slop.
$9.99 through Super Chat. Yes, iRobot, Roomba manufacturer.
Yep, there you go.
For US mail before they made the Roomba.
I knew you'd be able to confirm that. Thank you, man. Yeah. Yeah, before they made the Roomba. That's crazy. So like the Roomba is just like, how can we get this surveillance technology in the average consumer's household? That's hilarious. Oh, well, you just press a button and this little robot will vacuum your whole house for you. You don't even have to vacuum anymore. You can just scroll TikTok slop while your Roomba is tracking your house for the FBI. That's the state we live in now. So yeah, I mean, no surprise here. And we covered in the last stream about Goy slop, how the visual Goy slop that's being now exposed to children. So they want to protect. Okay, so think about this digital ID stuff, like the age verification. They want to protect kids online from what? Are they going to protect them from AI slop? Are they going to protect them from what's the name of that show we covered on the last stream? I forget the name of it. I'll have to pull up the what was the name of that crazy show on YouTube that's the most where Baby Shark is from? Hang on, let me see. What's the name of this stupid thing? Coco Melon. This Coco Melon channel that is it's evil. This is actually evil. 201 million subs. And this is just evil slop for children. This is like MK Ultra being beamed directly into kids' heads. That is completely cooking their attention span. None of the frames on this show are more than 2 seconds. And parents are using this as a visual pacifier for their children now. And so this is most of what most of the kids content on YouTube is now. It's just this AI. I don't even know if this is AI in particular, but it's like Coco Melon AI slop for kids on YouTube now. So they don't want to protect our children from that. They want to protect them from stuff that should be illegal. I mean, this should be illegal too, to be fair. But so that's what this is here. 59%, almost 2/3 of TikTok served a new account are AI slop, nearly triple that served to a new YouTube user. 3 in 10 educational TikToks in the science and education are 35%, health 33%, and history 33%. They're all AI slop. I see this on YouTube all the time. When I'm searching for historical videos, a lot of history videos now are the AI voice reading an AI generated script, and then the visuals are also AI. because it's hard to put together visuals for a historical video. It takes work, it takes research, and no one's doing research anymore, right? It's all automated. Cameras and microphones inside of homes will be open access to them. Then Christianity will be disproven and made illegal. I'm calling, yeah, well, again, you can like see where this is going, right? If we know from, we know from our saints and from our elders and from the church fathers even that there will be a time that we undergo great persecution. I don't know if we'll be alive. I don't know. No one knows if we'll be alive for that time, or if it'll be, our children's children, right? It's like, we don't know, but you can see the direction it's heading in where, how is this going to happen? How is persecution against Christians going to happen in America, which is perceived to be a Christian nation, a Protestant nation, at least? And, how is like persecution against Orthodox Christians in particular going to occur? Right? It's like kind of hard to view how that might be possible. But, it's, I see glimpses of it. I don't know if I think I've maybe shared it before, but, you can start to see these attacks online or whatever, even though there are these fringe groups and they're just, really loud people that don't matter. But you can start to see kind of like that sentiment where, oh, we're a bunch of idol worshipers and we're pagans and all this, like all this language that they have to describe Orthodox Christianity as something foreign to Christianity, foreign to Western Christianity, that is. And so like you can already see that kind of like narrative is starting to develop, at least in these like niche kind of like little fringe online Protestant communities and stuff. But, again, I think we're far off from seeing that become like something that is becoming very obvious. But hate speech. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other thing, is like, oh, we're exclusivist, right? And so we're seen as like these extremists or something because we are, we believe that the church, we believe the same thing that Protestants believe about Christ, except we apply it to the church in regards to exclusivity, at least, right? It's like, oh, it's so terrible. All right, so I think I had a couple more on this. Yeah. So right here, United States Department of Justice reports 2,383 cases reported on silent weapons attacks. So this is another thing starting to come up, is the DOJ is now like the DOJ. I feel like this is all very subversive, that the DOJ is like leaking all this schizo conspiracy stuff that, is not conspiracy. Like, we know it's real, but like they're now making it public, like between the UFO disclosures. Now they're talking about direct energy weapons. They're talking about MK Ultra, right? These silent weapons, COINTELPRO, right? Like, this is all coming out. This is from the DOJ. I don't know if this leaked, but there was another one. This is what I was looking for before. There was something about, MK Ultra kind of was in the news again because, right here. An MK Ultra hearing reveals that a CIA whistleblower was secretly dosed with LSD during a meeting. 9 days later, he fell from a hotel window. So we all know that story, right? Frank Olson. So is this, but this was, that's just the history of MK Ultra. But let me get a better commentary on what this was. Yeah, here. According to today's expert witness, Jack Ruby and Charles Manson were MK Ultra assets. Again, we know this already, but it's just crazy that this is a hearing before, what is this, House?
This is something else.
Is it in your expert opinion that Jack Ruby and Manson were assets of the intelligence agencies specifically pertaining to MK Ultra? Were they MK Ultra victims?
Yeah, theoretically Manson, I've never been able to prove absolutely. Jack Ruby, I believe.
That one's obvious.
this is something else. The Warren Commission investigation, on the Warren Commission was Alan Dulles, the former CIA director, who authorized and ran MK Ultra until he was fired by President Kennedy. The liaison to the committee.
Ramming. I love when people say that. Oh, another Bible thumper. Dude, go back to Reddit, man. Ramming your... someone says something about religion and it's ramming it down your throat. Yeah, okay, man. Good luck. Good luck on the internet. Go get in line for your digital ID.
For the CIA, who handled the information coming from the CIA back and forth to the Warren Commission, was Richard Helms, who was a direct supervisor of Jolly West. They knew who West was. They knew that what West was capable of and what they had paid him to do and what he had reported to them that he could do, including inducing mental disorders.
The funny thing is, if you go to my YouTube channel, just click on the channel, okay? What does it say? Orthodox Christian. This is an Orthodox Christian channel. All right? So go to the thousands of other channels that are talking about flock cameras that don't mention religion and have a blast over there, man. This is an Orthodox Christian channel, so yeah. Go have fun not getting religion rammed down your throat anywhere else, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, man.
That was never disclosed to the commission as far as anyone knows. So I believe that West was put in there to keep Jack Ruby from telling his story.
Wow. In closing, I just want to thank you all for being here today, and we will be following up, Dr. Kinzer, on your request to fully redact. I'll be following personally with the director of the CIA, the MKUltra files that we do have. Also, as I noted earlier, there will be more that will be declassified, specifically pertaining to newly found records that were located in what we were discussing earlier. I did also want to just state that, for the record, in regards to what statements were made earlier regarding the German government, we will also be following up on that. If there are indeed people...
So I don't even know, like, what... I mean, this was just interesting to me. Like, I don't think this is about anything, like, in terms of policies or whatever, but just interesting that this is a hearing at the House. They have a guy actually just saying, you know, these were CIA assets that were MK Ultra stuff that we already knew. Same as the UFO disclosures. It's like, yeah, okay, we know. We don't need the government telling us. Yeah, the anti-flock stuff on Reddit probably blames flock cameras on Christians. I have no idea. I don't know what their take is on. I would imagine Reddit is very opposed to flock cameras. But yeah, you can get a good, well-rounded secular perspective on the surveillance state over at reddit.com. So, you know, we're about solutions here, and so I can't imagine looking at all this stuff and not having the truth of orthodoxy, which is the only thing that makes sense of any of this. Otherwise, I mean, it's just so blackpilling. You know, we have the divine liturgy. We have healing. We have healing for our spiritual and, you know, physical and spiritual illnesses that we all have. We can find that only in the Orthodox Church, only through the sacraments. And none of this stuff, like, none of these people, you can't, look, again, how my video is titled here is like, you can't vote your way out of this. So then what do? You move to another country? Well, this is a global agenda. We have refuge only in the church. That's our only escape. It's through Christ. Christ is our only escape from any of this. The way that this is all heading is towards literally to the apocalypse. Like, this is not going to stop until the end is here. I mean, if you don't even believe that part, it's like, well then, I don't know, man. I don't know, like, I can't imagine living like this.
$19.99 through Super Chat. It 100% means they're amping up operations and doubling down on the cover-up. They're using the cover-up narrative and drip-leaking blatantly obvious stuff. Every time...
Every time they do this, they are asking for money to fix the... Yeah. Yeah, it was this. Look, they released the Epstein files. Did any of them get arrested? No. They released the UFO disclosures. Like what? We gained no new information from the UFO disclosures. We got a Spielberg movie out of it. Great. We got hopefully the last boomer, the last boomer conspiracy movie. You get more Jewish, propaganda. They release the MK Ultra stuff. It's like, okay, they're just talking about stuff that we've known about for 30 years now, probably 50 years actually. Oh wow, really? You're telling me that the CIA grooms killers? I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that like all these false flags were actually just MK Ultra victims that were groomed into through these echo chambers that are manipulated through these Discord groups that are really just fed honeypots. I didn't know that. Actual Reddit post, why are local Christians so eager to give up our Fourth Amendment to flock cameras? Like, so what they're talking about is Republicans. They just swap Republicans with Christians. They're talking about evangelicals. And that's true. Like a lot of this stuff, like I said, is being pushed by Republicans. It is being pushed by, I don't know if they're Christians or not. I guess you can say like most of the Republican aligned people are evangelical. It's probably safe to say. They're just like, they're just Reddit atheists swapping conservative or Republican with Christian. And it's like they're not even really talking about Christians, they're talking about evangelicals. Let's see. I'm afraid to go to Reddit. Oh, I can't even get into Reddit. I'm blocked from Reddit from my VPN, so never mind. I'm not that curious. Here's another one about direct energy weapons. This is a post on Substack. Driving people to commit to I'm not sure if I can say that word, to unalive themselves is a common practice with direct energy weapons. So this was revealed in the Epstein files. And you can read it here. I just did age verification right there. Whoops. See how fast I did that? I was just like, yes. I just consented to age verification. Yeah, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I guess this is oh, interesting. Hang on a sec. So who's this from? It's talking about the Ashley Madison Network. A large majority of funding for said network is held in accounts of capital investors, property they acquired. Much of the property is used for house with people with radio transmitters. These transmitters send a signal of RF, audio, and video that are used to make people receive the signal in a way that interferes with their central nervous system. These transmitter people use extensive conditioning techniques to make people experience tactile, auditory, and visual hallucinations. It is used extensively to diddle kids. These transmitters often are readily visible from the street as satellite dishes between the radio signal that is recorded of a person near a transceiver and the conditioning. People who hear the transmission begin to experience sensations similar to the person who made the recording. This ham radio, this was a ham radio technique. This is an off-grid communication technology that is supposed to be somewhat decentralized. This is a technique that makes them seem as though people are hearing voices and feeling these other hallucinations that often resemble. Oh, wow, this is really crazy. But again, this has been around for a long time too. So it's being done. This is being transmitted over ham radio signals. That's crazy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Peter Thiel is funding a lot of these like right-wing dissident movements online. I mean, there's that whole like thing about, I guess it's speculative, but that Peter Thiel is like funneling money into like the BAPnet, like the Bronze Age pervert network. This is Twitter lore. I'm not going to get into this because most of you will probably be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, these like right-wing, and those guys unironically are also like they're actually like saying that the flock cameras are a good thing because it's going to help with mass deportations. Let me see if I can find. I think I saw one before. I meant to bookmark it. Let's see here.
At I Ask Dumb Questions donated $19.
Thank you for another 20, man.
Through Super Chat. Yes. Also the radar systems used by news agencies, plus mill bases. This is what is in Robert Duncan's disclosure book Matrix.
Yeah, I knew you were going to mention that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be covering that Matrix Deciphered too. I just need to go over it, but yeah, that is I thought of that immediately when I saw that. I'm trying to find, here. Yeah, so here you go. Here's a good example of this. So this is one of these said BAP network guys, right? Like all these guys are anonymous, and they're pro flock cameras. Like they're suddenly like pro mass surveillance because they think it's going to help with these mass deportations that never came. So they're saying that, this is like they're framing it as like, oh, this is an Antifa thing, right? This is like a left-wing activism thing to be anti-flock cameras. So because they're so focused on it, shows you that they work. They help stop crime. That's why Antifa hates them. No surprise that the retard right has also jumped on board. So that's us, by the way. We're the retard right, according to these guys that are just complete MAGA shills. Like they'll never counter signal the God Emperor Trump. They'll never counter signal the technocracy. They'll never counter signal Palantir, right? Like they all post the same way. They never even counter signal each other. They all agree on the same stuff. So like that's why there's speculations that these guys are like all part of this like network that is acting as dissidents for the right, and they're really on like Peter Thiel's payroll. I don't know. Yeah, like captive dreamer, exactly. Yeah, they're supporting data centers. Yeah, just whatever Trump is behind. Like they're all about Project Stargate and all this stuff. Like they think this is based. And it was just like this one video that was, this is a stupid video. It's like, it is retarded to film yourself doing this. It's just like undeniably retarded. And like, yeah, they're wearing masks, but it's like, this is just, yeah, those guys aren't wearing, these are just filming yourself doing a crime. It's like just retarded. But in the UK, they've been doing this for years. They don't really film themselves doing it. They've developed a whole system for this. Anyway, I think that's all I got, guys. Unless you wanted me to check out any. Let me just check the Discord in case I missed anything. All right. Stuff I might have to address going on in the Discord. Anyway, yeah, join our Discord, I guess. If you wanted to be part of our community, it's very active on Discord every day. If you enjoy these kinds of subjects and meeting with like-minded people. And of course, you can also check out permanet.xyz, which is unofficially launched, but it will be officially launched later this week. And that's more of a focused community, like I said, about, just preparations for localizing, for going offline and taking useful digital information with us and just developing our own offline network. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out the Permanet forum at permanet.xyz. It's totally free. I get nothing out of this. I put in a lot of my own time building this. I'll probably do a stream just like kind of going over it once I have some more stuff on here. But yeah, I get nothing out of this. So like, don't think I'm shilling anything. This is totally free. It will remain free. And my paid work, if you want to support me financially, you can go over to thereversion.co. You can subscribe for free too, and just get some of the free newsletters that I send out and some of the content that I drop in your inbox. This is where the entire body of my work is living as of right now until it's time to move. But thank you all for your very kind support. I hope that this was not too black-pilling and just informative enough for you to start to take some action. But yeah, I love you guys, and we'll take care. I will see you in the next one. I think I'll definitely be back later this week. And I've got quite a bit of stuff that I want to cover. I definitely wanted to cover something about like the occult founding of America. I just feel like that's so like overplayed, but I think maybe I was going to do that for Independence Day, but maybe I'll reserve it for an upcoming stream. But yeah, I've got some exciting stuff coming up, so make sure you subscribe on YouTube and all that. You know what to do. All right, guys, take care.